What's happening, everybody? Welcome to the best two shows in a row on this space. That's right, I said it. I said it. The best two shows in a row. Thank you, Pastor Benjamin. And also, I got to say thank you, Pastor Ben, for also shouting me out on the Majority Report. One of my subscribers over on my channel was like, "You got shouted out on the Majority Report," and I was like, "No way, no way." And they're like, "Yep, Pastor Benjamin, he made sure to shout you out." So thank you, Pastor Benjamin. Thank you for everything you do, and thank you for the shout out. Because there's a lot of good people on YouTube nowadays, and some people, are down in the taint of YouTube, and we don't always get pushed out in the algorithm. And I know I'm pretty proud and happy of the 25,000 subscribers that I've gotten. I know that I'm proud and happy for Pastor Benjamin for his 200,000 plus that he has, but it's important to always remember to shout out all the people underneath. So shout out to 21st Century Suffragettes, to Naughty Nana Does representing Canada. Shout out to Straight Facts No Chaser, my brother from another mother. Yeah, thank you for everybody that does that. So yeah, we got a lot to talk about today. We've got a lot to talk about, but I think that what Pastor Benjamin in his closing was saying there is that make sure to let people know. I hope you guys have the day that you deserve. That's about what it comes out to, right? If you are a Christian, if you are Jewish, if you are Muslim, no matter your religious affiliation, and you truly believe that there is a creator, a God that is judging people, then you might want to act like it. You might want to think about your actions and the things that you have said or done while you are on this planet, if that is your belief system. I'm a secular humanist, so I believe in just doing the right thing. I generally don't need anything to tell me what I should be doing to be a good person. I think that innately I feel those things through my life experience, and yeah. If there is a God, I think that'll be enough. I think that that'll be enough, and I think that there's a lot of people out there right now that are unlike our man Pastor Benjamin, who leads by example, who practices what he preaches. I think there's a lot of people that are unlike him out there that are saying things and doing things that are directly in conflict with the beliefs that they have through their religion. So just do good. Just be good people. Be nice. Be kind. Have empathy. Like, that's the way to go. That's if you can't do those small things, then I don't know how you're gonna stand in front of your creator and say that you lived a good life and you did his or hers or its name justice. So that's where I stand with that. That's where I stand with that. But let's get to talking a little bit about everything that's going on nowadays. And we all know what's going on nowadays, and that is that this administration has found the one place that they might have figured out they can't BS their cult. They offered their cult a pound of flesh, guys. And just for anybody out there that doesn't understand what I'm saying here, there's a lot of conspiracies in the MAGA cult. There's, the JFK, which, hey, I'm down with some talking about some JFK. There's, UAPs. I'm down with talking about some UAPs. There's the inside job 9/11. I'm down with talking about corruption in our government. But we've already seen the release of the JFK files. And those JFK files fell flat, right? Like you don't hear a damn word from MAGA and the cult members about those JFK files. Ain't nobody screaming that there's still a cover up. There ain't nobody screaming what about RFK? What happened to RFK who was pushing those theories before? Speaking of conspiracies, vaccine conspiracies that RFK and also MAGA people have pushed. And the one thing that is different between the RFK files and these Epstein files is that MAGA was promised a pound of flesh. And this is a point where Trump can't just avoid it. He can't talk about other things. He can't just act like it didn't happen, and he's caught between a rock and a hard place because he also can't just throw random people that he dislikes under the bus, because you're not going to be able to just release a list of names for these people. That's not what they want. These people want to see arrests. They want public executions. They want blood. And he's put himself in a position with these people where he has gaslit them. He has gotten their vote by producing amazing, incredible amounts of fear and hatred and anger and vitriol from these people. And they want their pound of flesh. So he's not going to be able to just release a list. He's going to have to take these people to court. He's going to have to put them on trial. He's going to have them arrested, and he's going to have them punished in a way that MAGA feels is justice. And he can't do that because there's a thing called the discovery phase. So even if there was a person on those files that Donald Trump hated, that MAGA hated, he can't put him on trial, because if they do during that discovery phase, they're gonna see somebody's name on those files. They're gonna see connections to a certain person that occupies a very, very powerful space in America. And he's going to have to explain all that. And he's showing right now that he's not capable of it. I'll even say this, maybe 20 years ago, Trump might have been able to do that. But he's declining. The cognitive decline that we're all seeing live and in color on TV just goes to show that even now, right now, he can barely get up on stage with a soccer team that won a championship and not steal a medal. He's suffering some cognitive decline, and it is showing. So the pound of flesh that MAGA wants, the blood that they want, is almost impossible for Donald Trump to provide them. And he is fucking around and finding out right now, and I am here for it. So I want to talk about some of these things, and we're going to start with a news article that just came out today. Let's see if I can get it up on here. There we go. Look at me go, pushing buttons. So this article is titled, "It Was His Best Friend. Ex-Trump casino boss reveals president brought Epstein and teen girl to the gaming floor." And this is a guy who I believe he worked for him for 4 years at his Atlantic City casino. And he claimed that the president once brought Jeffrey Epstein and a 19-year-old girl to the gaming floor. Now, for people out there, they're saying, "Oh, she's 19, she's old enough." If you have a 19-year-old child, if you have a 19-year-old daughter, you know 19 ain't grown up. If you know anything about biology or science, you know that the prefrontal cortex doesn't fully develop by the time you're 19. That's the place that you make decisions. That's why a lot of times we look so down on relationships between people that are of advanced age and people that are young. There is a reasoning behind that. For people that don't understand why alcohol is the age to purchase alcohol is 21, there's actually scientific reasoning behind that, and that is it stunts the growth of your prefrontal cortex. So anybody out there like, "Well, she was 19, that's not so bad." That's cope. So anyways, this man, Jack O'Donnell, he went on CNN, it looks like, and spoke a little bit about this. So first, let's play this clip, and let's watch this, and then we're going to get a little bit into the article itself. It helps to turn off the mute button.
one incident that I think kind of, proves their closeness and how much they hung out together. One time, a Monday morning, I came in and the commission was waiting. The inspectors were
Bo.
waiting in my office, and Donald and Jeffrey had come into the casino in the wee hours of Sunday morning, 1:30 in the morning. Two buddies. They had three women with them, and the commission was waiting for me because they had determined that the women that they brought down were underage to be on the casino. And when I asked them how they knew that, by the way, one of them was the number 3 ranked tennis player in the world. Okay. And this guy happened to be a tennis fan. And he said, Jack, I know she's 19 years old. Okay. So, and to get on a helicopter with a friend and 3 other people and fly down to Atlantic City, I mean, you can connect those dots. They were pretty
at 1:30 in the morning. And just to be clear, the story, when you say underage for the casino would be 21, right? So not necessarily legally underage girls, right? Not in that case.
No.
I believe in Alabama the age of consent, is it like 16? Like these are arbitrary numbers, guys.
Not in the sense of a minor, so to speak, that's been described with Epstein. They were underage to be in the casino, and they knew for fact that one of them was 19 years old.
Yeah. So, first of all, that's illegal. You can't have an underage person in this casino under the age of 21, right? So, not that Donald Trump is concerned at all about what is legal, right? But it's illegal. And this caused a lot of issues with the commission that was there, because obviously they do care what is or is not legal for a person to be inside of the casino, whether or not they're of age. So this story goes on to say, in my mind, it was Epstein, his best friend, from really the time I was there for 4 years. So this is he's saying in the 4 years that he was there, a guy that Donald Trump has said over and over again, yeah, did I know Epstein? Yeah, I knew him, but we barely even hung out together. I didn't even really know the guy. To me, he was just a creep. This man saying for the 4 years that he was there during his time at this casino, it seemed to him that Epstein was not just his friend, but his best friend. The revelation comes as uproar over the Trump administration's handling of the Epstein file refuses to die down. Anger from MAGA over the recent Department of Justice memo declaring the case closed has not subsided, while Trump has reportedly raged that his supporters won't shut the fuck up about the saga. And he just called him stupid. I think you guys saw that on Pastor Benjamin's show just now. He's called him stupid. When we talk about, Donald Trump calling military soldiers suckers and losers, what does MAGA tell you? What do they tell you? What does MAGA say? They say, he didn't say that. You can't prove that. There's no video. There's no audio. It's just people that hate Trump. That's all it is. It's just people that want to sell books, that want to write books. That's who this is. Well, I'll tell you this, for every MAGA supporter out there, you might be right. There might not be video. There might not be audio of him calling the soldiers in the military suckers and losers. But I'll tell you this, there's video of him calling you weaklings and stupid. There's videos of him telling you to shut the fuck up. There's text messages, tweets, where he's literally saying it right to you. It's pretty insane. During one visit to the Atlantic City resort in the 80s, O'Donnell claimed inspectors of the State Casino Commission, which regulates gambling and ensures casinos complies with the law, were waiting for him in his office after the president and disgraced financier had turned up to the venue with a group of 3 women. This is where it talks about a little bit about them showing up. It says, 2 buddies, they had 3 women with them, and the commission was waiting for me because they had determined that the women that they brought down were underage to be in the casino. The former casino boss said that he asked the inspectors how they knew the young woman was of age, or of that was her age. And as he pointed out, one of them was a tennis fan and knew that one of these young women was a 19-year-old tennis player. It is illegal for anyone under 21 to gamble on the casino floor in New Jersey, what's the chances that this young woman was allowed to gamble in this casino? What's the chances, guys? I'm going high percentage. High percentage. O'Donnell said the commission gave Trump a break on this occasion, but claimed the commission made him ring the president to reprimand him. And of course, we all have seen the dearth of evidence, all of the photos, all of the videos of Donald Trump with Epstein. I don't know about you guys, but you cannot find photos of me, videos of me with just like random people that I kind of knew in the same amount that there is of Trump and Epstein. This is a time, this wasn't Instagram, this wasn't Twitter, this wasn't YouTube, this was well before all of that. And yet somehow there are just tons of photos and videos of him and Epstein together. But he barely knew him, guys. And we all know that Donald Trump is very good at saying, I didn't really know that guy. This isn't the first time. It's not the first time. And to be honest, I would be really surprised if it's the last. They made me call him, and I had to, believe it or not, read him the riot act about this action because they gave him a break. I had to call them and say, they're giving you a break this time, but if this happens again, the fine is going to be substantial, and it's going to be on your head. O'Donnell added that he told Trump that turning up with Epstein and the young women was not gonna look good. This is not, like, this is back in the day. This wasn't 10 years ago. This wasn't 15 years ago. This was well before Donald Trump said that he kicked Epstein out for being a creep. I did tell him in that conversation, I don't think you should be hanging out with this guy, just so you know, and you certainly shouldn't be doing that in Atlantic City. The president has attempted to distance himself from the disgraced financier who died by suicide in a New York jail in August of 2019. And have you guys seen the clip of Bill O'Reilly? Bill O'Reilly claiming that Trump was not in office, that Epstein was prosecuted under Joe Biden by Merrick Garland. By the way, neither Merrick Garland or Joe Biden were in the administration back in 2019, when not only was Epstein prosecuted by James Comey's daughter, who literally was just fired like yesterday, but then committed or took his own life. I don't want to say the wrong word on YouTube. He took his own life. And then what did Donald Trump do? Donald Trump blamed the Clintons for Epstein passing away. We have learned at this point that if Donald Trump is blaming anybody else for something, he probably did that shit. Okay? Like, this is, every accusation is a confession. This is a man that has consistently used the playbook of Nazi Germany, the 10,000 lies become a truth, the blame the other side for anything that you are doing. This is him. This is the poisoning the blood of our citizens, the vermin poisoning our blood. Look, there are tons of times in this culture where somebody misspeaks. There are tons of times in this culture where somebody says something out of pocket that they shouldn't say. And those people, if they haven't done that stuff before, can say, hey man, look back at my history and you tell me, am I that person? Or did I make a mistake? And if Donald Trump wants to stand up there and say those words to us, we will judge him by his past, by his history. And I will happily say, yeah, you that person. You're that dude. Let's see. Says the two were photographed and filmed together on several occasions. And in 2002, Trump described Epstein as a terrific guy whom he had known for 15 years in an interview with the New York Magazine. He added, it is even said that he likes beautiful women as much as I do, and many of them are on the younger side. The Independent is, oh, sorry, that's That's just the Independent. That's what we were just reading. So here's the thing about that, guys. Here's the thing about that. You can sit there and you can say all you want if you're a MAGA supporter. You can say the suckers and losers, that was something somebody wrote in a book. You can say all you want that, like, people are out to get Trump. Look what happened to him. They weaponized the justice system against him. They weaponized the judicial system against him. You can say that all you want. We can even give you the best faith, and we can be like, you know what? Sure. But if we're going to compare that information versus all the other information that currently exists in his own words, both written on social media, written in interviews, and his video interviews of him talking about Epstein, and his videos of him partying with Epstein, and we compare those two, it seems as though, guys, Donald Trump, I think he might have known Epstein. And right now, I'm telling you this right now, there is a reason that Donald Trump does not want to release those files. And there's a reason he's now calling it the Epstein hoax, just like he called it the Russia hoax, just like he called it the Steele dossier hoax. Now I'm like, where'd that PP tape at? I'm like, I think it exists now. I was willing to believe maybe not, you know? But now it's something I say a lot on my channel. When I first started doing this, I got on here, and I wouldn't say I was a both sides person, but I was a person that would say, hey, you know, like, let's see evidence. Let's see proof. Like I said, I'm a secular humanist. If you're going to prove to me that God exists, then I need evidence. I need proof. I need to see it with my own eyes. So when I first got on this channel, I talked to people. I would say, you know, my chat would come in and they go, no, man, you're not going hard enough. You're not saying, you know, the things about this guy that are true, and it's this, and he said this about his daughter. And I go, come on, that's out of context, right? And then I go look it up, and they're like, damn, he said that about his daughter. Wow, that's crazy. And then I'd say, somebody said, yeah, the bone saw. You remember the bone saw? And I said, bone saw? They're like, yeah, the reporter and the bone saw. I'm like, what is that? That's not real. That's not real. And then I went and looked it up, and I was like, wow, that's real. That's real. They chopped up a reporter in Saudi Arabia, and Trump just was like, I don't know anything about that. So look, at the end of the day, you could pretty much tell me anything right now about Donald Trump, and I believe it. And it's not because people have said it or people have written it in a book. It's because this man leaves a paper trail behind him like he's Hansel and fucking Gretel. This man leaves text messages, interviews, speeches, emails, social media tweets. He is his own worst enemy, and it is absolutely fucking mind-boggling, guys, that anyone out there still in any way, shape, or form supports this guy. It's fucking insane. But with that being said, there are some people that it does seem are waking up. There are some people that it does seem are starting to say, I don't know, if you're Elon, you're starting to say, I think my gravy train is gone, and it's probably time for me to abandon ship, right? The rats are abandoning ship right now. They're getting their luggage, and they're moving for the lifeboats, and they're trying to get in front of the women and children. They're trying to get the hell out of there as soon as they possibly can. So I wanted to watch this. This is from my dude, Adam Mockler. I love Adam. For those of you who don't know, I interviewed Adam when he was about 70K. And we did a little interview. And to be honest with you guys, that interview was me talking to Adam about how to reach MAGA. I said to Adam, I said, hey, man, I go, how do we bring some of these people back? I said, it's not really, you know, a good plan to say that we're going to live in the same country as these people that are losing their mind. I said, it's a lot like living in an apartment with your roommate, right? And it's like your roommate does some shit. You don't like it. You got to talk it out. You got to figure it out, or one of you is going to have to move out, right? And that's not something that really can happen in this country. Is you can't just, well, unless you're Trump. I guess deportation is practically evicting people. Maybe it's time to deport some certain people. But we had a conversation where we were talking about, using the Socratic method, asking questions, leading people to fallacies, trying to get them to understand where the flaws in their logic exists and why it's bad for them and their mental health and the people that surrounds them. That was way back a year ago in the before times. And, Adam had some great things to say. He had some great things to say about talking to people and debating and trying to lead people to those logical fallacies in their argument and letting them come to those. I don't know that that's really going to work anymore. I love Adam Mockler. I love that he's still 10 toes down on trying to fix this situation in America. But I don't know that that's even a possibility anymore. I look around at these people and say to myself, if this is the test, right? There's always a test. I was saying this last night on my stream. I said, when Jim Jones, the original Jim Jones, not Orange Jim Jones, when Jim Jones took those people to Jonestown and he had them doing all that crazy shit and things started falling apart, there was a test. And that test involved a barrel of Kool-Aid. I saw a meme once that said the only difference between Jim Jones and Donald Trump is that when the Kool-Aid's being served, Donald Trump's going to charge him for it. Who's Orange Jim Jones? Orange Jim Jones is Trump, Bo. That's Trump. Orange Jim Jones. I coined that. That's mine. All right. I also like calling the Mandarin Messiah. So that really makes MAGA mad because they don't know anything about the Mandarin Messiah. That was Mao. So that makes them even angrier. But there's a test in all cults. If you're in the Hellbot, the Heaven's Gate cult, it was a time when they told you to put on the Nikes, right? They said, put the Nikes on and lay down in your bunk bed. We joined in the comet for a ride through space. And I'm sure there was a couple people that were like, actually, I don't really like Nikes. And, I think maybe... there's a good TV show that I'm still wanting to see the end of, so I'm gonna dip out. And with Jim Jones over there, they got him in line for this Kool-Aid, and you're supposed to come up to this barrel. I heard it was Flavor Aid, by the way. I heard he went real cheap. Why are you gonna? It's your last day on Earth, dog. Go ahead and splurge. Get the Great Blue Dini, okay? Get the good Kool-Aid, all right? But apparently, make sure there's extra sugar in that too, all right? I grew up poor. We put extra sugar, all right? But you got to think that there was a couple people standing in that line as they were about to go get that Kool-Aid, that they were looking around and they saw people kind of fucking falling out around, and they're like, actually, I'm not a big fan of Kool-Aid. I'm diabetic. Not really into that much sugar. I think I'm gonna dip out. And, people say that the people that tried to lead the line, Jim Jones security shot those people. And that's actually a very good metaphor for what happens to cult members in the MAGA cult when they try to leave too. We saw what happened to Joe Rogan when he offered to support RFK Jr. We saw what Tim Pool, what happened to him when he made a joke about supporting RFK Jr. We saw what Kyle Rittenhouse got when he said he was going to vote for Rand Paul. Like, there's definitely security, and they definitely are locked and loaded for you to step out of line. But if there is ever a test, as far as this cult goes, it has to be right now. This has to be the test. For every MAGA supporter out there, if there's a single one that watches this video, this is the test. You're in line and the Kool-Aid is right there. And Trump wants you to go down with the ship. He doesn't want you getting the lifeboats. He doesn't want you getting away. Misery loves company. And he wants this entire country to be just as miserable as he is. And if he can't get the entire country to do it, well, he damn sure is going to hold on to the few people that he has left. So you got a choice right now, MAGA. You can abandon ship. You can step out of the line. You can take the chance to run and hope that the security does not gun you down. But I'm going to tell you this. If you do not choose to abandon Trump right now, when this is going on, when he is legit protecting elites from being prosecuted for crimes against children, if you do not take this time to step away and say, I think it's time to return to sanity, I think we've gone too far. If you don't do it, you're going down with the ship. It ain't going to be pretty. And my only hope is that when you guys go down with the ship, you don't take the rest of us with you. Like that's the only hope. Because some people in this country decided that they wanted to go ahead and give Donald Trump the keys to the ship. I didn't want to. Many people watching this channel didn't want to, but a lot of people did. They threw their hat in the ring. They said, I'm going with this dude. Does he look drunk? Probably. Has he had 10 shots? Yeah. But I'm going to let him drive us home. That was your decision. I just don't want to be the family on the other side of the road in incoming traffic that Donald Trump and MAGA swerves into and takes out the people that I love as well. So here's your chance. It's time to abandon ship. And this is what we're seeing currently with the head rat in charge, Elon Musk. So this is a video from Adam Mockler. Elon's 3 a.m. Epstein bomb just exposed Trump. And as you guys know, I don't watch these videos, so I'm going to be just as surprised as you guys.
Donald Trump has to be sweating right now, and I want to show you exactly why. Elon Musk was Trump's political donor just a few months ago, and he was using all of his money and his platform X to bring all of this positive attention.
Not all of his money. He still got a lot.
Towards the Trump campaign. Well, now things have flipped very quickly because Elon is leveraging his wealth and his platform X to point all of his attention at the Epstein client list cover-up. Elon Musk at 3 a.m., 4 a.m. pulled in tens of millions of views talking about the cover-up, exposing this admin's lies. And weirdly enough, Elon was just clarifying who has ownership of the files, which right now is the FBI, the DOJ, and therefore the executive branch. So someone who has been spreading so much disinformation on their platform is now weaponizing their platform to try to take down Donald Trump. And look at this. Even in the first post right here, I see 4.9 million views. This is because we live in an attention economy where online views do matter now. When Elon Musk pulls 20 million views overnight exposing this client list, those aren't small numbers.
And something to remember here that's actually really important about that, what he's saying there, is a lot of us are very concerned about how the rest of the world sees us, right? A lot of us are concerned about how we're going to be treated when we choose to leave the country to go visit other countries, right? Like America already has a pretty bad reputation, but a lot of us are concerned that it's gotten so much worse that when we go overseas, and not that I've ever been outside the country, but if I ever want to go to Ireland and visit the homeland, we want to be able to go there and not be looked at as these people that were behind and chose to support this obvious tyrant, this authoritarian, this cognitively declining cult leader. Like, this is important because when he says 20 million views, he's talking about not just people in America. He's talking about people in Canada, people in Germany, people in Japan. This is something that the rest of the world is watching. They are watching us right now like we watch the Tiger King, right? They are watching us to see how we behave. And look, think about it this way. Think about what's going on in this country right now this way. Think about if Hitler in Germany never attacked Poland. Think about if he had not started World War II. Think about if he just instead closed his borders and started doing the things that he believes only within Germany. The rest of the world probably would have not interceded. They probably would have looked over there and went, wow, look at that crazy maniacal motherfucker. Look at him and look at what he's doing. They might have sanctioned him. They might have, had some kind of, a speech about how it's bad. America probably wouldn't, because America was actually in support of Nazi Germany. When it first kicked off, America didn't want anything to do with re-entering another world war after World War I. Just think. It would look a lot like what we're seeing here in our country today. It would look a lot like what Donald Trump is doing to Americans and undocumented immigrants in this country right now. So just for one moment, think about that. It would look almost exactly the same.
Can I remind you, Elon Musk was the one who kind of kicked this all off. It's been a long month, so it's hard to remember that a month ago, Elon Musk said, time to drop the really big bomb.
Was that a month?
At real Donald Trump is in the Epstein files. That is the real reason they have not been made public. Have a nice day, DJT.
Damn.
He then said, mark this post for the future. The truth will come out. Elon has since deleted this tweet, but Trump has sued people.
The internet is forever, dog. You can delete all you want, my friend. It is forever.
For way less. So Trump never launched a lawsuit. Trump responded to this, but since then, the situation has blown up tenfold.
When he says that Trump never launched a lawsuit, that's also very important. You see all these people going out and saying to AOC that Donald Trump's going to sue her for defamation. Oh, now the tweet exists and you're in so much trouble. He's going to sue you and you guys, you're going to rue the day. Oh, that's weird. That's weird. Donald Trump isn't going to do that. To be honest with you, I bet you Donald Trump wants to. I bet you Donald Trump is screaming at his lawyers, we should be suing AOC for defamation. And you know what his lawyers are saying? That'd be a stupid fucking idea. Because you're going to have to prove that what she said isn't true in court. And by the way, defamation is really, really hard to prove. This is why it was so insane that the Fox News had to pay out $787 million in a defamation trial. Because in defamation, it's actually extremely hard to prove your case. Donald Trump does not want to bring charges, or not charges, doesn't want to bring a civil lawsuit against somebody like AOC. And the reason why is because, well, like we talked about earlier, it's because there's a discovery phase. And during that time, all the lawyers are going to get to look at all of the evidence. The judge is going to get to look at all the evidence. And somebody is going to leak the information that has Donald Trump's name on it.
100-fold, and Elon Musk is doubling down on exposing the Trump admin. It's just interesting because when Elon said this, we all thought it was insane at the time, but nobody knew that the DOJ would screw themselves over so badly less than a month later. On top of that, I've been sending this around to all my MAGA supporter friends. It's this interview of Jeffrey Epstein where he said,
oh, I didn't know that this was with Michael Wolff. I've heard this before, but I did not know that this was actually with Michael Wolff.
I was Donald Trump's closest friend. Even beyond that, what about this quote from Trump? He said, quote, I've known Jeff for 15 years. Terrific guy. He said he's a lot of fun to be with. It is even said that he likes beautiful women as much as I do, and many of them are on the younger side. No doubt about it, Jeffrey enjoys his social life.
You guys tell me. Maybe I'm missing something. Maybe just like Trump has like just destroyed reality so hard now that maybe I'm not doing a good job of remembering. But has there ever been a figure to this point that there has been so much evidence, like in his own words, in video, in pictures, that proves that he is a part of this conspiracy, and yet somehow he has people that still steadfastly support him? I mean, is there one more person that can be compared to Donald Trump that you can think of that possibly it like even comes close to having this much evidence against him, and yet somehow people still defended them?
Then Donald Trump went on years later to brag about grabbing women because they just let you do it if you're a celebrity. Just sickening stuff. The reason I'm walking you through this is because you can paint a very convincing picture of Elon Musk going, hey, Trump is in the files. Then you look at the evidence. Oh, Trump and Epstein were really good friends, actually really good friends. And then as you do more research, Pam Bondi pulls the files, says they don't exist whatsoever. Now Elon Musk is on a crusade to expose the Trump admin. Let's walk through what he said last night. And really quickly, I want to thank PDS Debt for making these videos possible and for offering a free debt assessment for you. If you're trapped
get
under
your
credit
debt
card bills
assessment,
or
guys.
medical debt right now by trying
your debt
PDS
assessment.
Debt and seeing why tens of thousands of Americans trust them to finally break free, they can help you with a free
we're
debt
still going through the
assessment and
commercial.
put you back in control by creating a personalized financial plan based
Debt
on
is
your
bad,
unique
okay?
situation.
Debt is
no
bad.
cookie cutter solutions. They have advanced technology
Damn.
and a dedicated team to pay off debt faster.
I gotta work on
and start
people
growing
helping
your
get their-
savings
their
again. It's very
messages
easy to
out
get
quicker.
started. Go to pdsdebt.com/Adam Mockler to get a free money. So take your life back. This in the first.
Okay, here we go.
Where is phase 2? Responding to the Epstein files, phase 1. Now, I actually said the same thing to Jack Posobiec when I
Do
debated.
you guys remember these dummies? Do you remember? I'm so proud. These like YouTube content creators that were just so goddamn hungry for that grifting ass money. And they just came out and they're holding the binders up. They're like, look at me, brother. Look at me. I got the information. It's fucking buffoonery. It's a fucking circus. Like, if I was one of those people, first of all, if you hand me a binder, I'm going to look at that shit like immediately. And if I saw that stuff, I wouldn't have left the White House. I'm like, so where's the stuff you guys are going to give us? This binder you're giving me now? No, that's not what I came here for. Like, I'm going to have to sit here until you guys give me the stuff that you said you were going to give to me, because I can't go out there and show people this. They are going to maul me, dog. I don't want to get mauled. If anybody's getting mauled, it's you. You take the fucking binder out there and hold it up for all those people. You ain't taking a picture of me with this bullshit. I ain't going up there and holding this shit up. That shit's on the internet for the rest of time. But you got me twisted.
Him on Piers Morgan. I said, where is phase 2, bro? He then retweeted Thomas Massey. Thomas Massey said, Americans deserve transparency, and the victims of Epstein deserve justice. Thank you, Representative Boebert, for co-sponsoring this legislation to release the Epstein files. I also believe Ro Khanna helped co-sponsor this legislation, but Republicans are going to shoot it down because they're hiding something. Now, this brings me to Elon Musk's back and forth. Just to explain what happened here. Elon Musk has been trying to prove that his AI bot, Grok, is no longer a Nazi or Mecha Hitler. So what he's been doing is having conversations with it. And this conversation I found quite interesting because he used his own bot.
You guys know that the Pentagon is using Grok now too, right? Or going to be using Grok, I guess. $200 million contract between the government and Elon Musk's AI company, XAI, to use Grok in the Pentagon. Bro, Grok is about to launch them nukes, all right? Like, this is like dystopian science fiction at its finest. I'm telling you guys this right now. Like, this is the type of shit that we have talked about in books and movies for like generations. And somebody was like, yo, you know that AI that Elon Musk had that was denying white genocide? Yeah, I know that one. You know the one that was calling itself Mecha Hitler? Yeah, I know that one. It's the same one, right? Yeah. So that's the Pentagon's using that now. We're all so cooked. We are all so cooked.
Grok to expose Trump's lies. Let's just start from the beginning. There's a tweet that reads, from Grok, flight logs show Bill Clinton visited Little St. James 12 plus times, Prince Andrew multiple times, Alan Dershowitz, Kevin Spacey, Chris Tucker. Trump flew on plane 7 times, but not to island that we know of. So Trump did fly on Epstein's plane 7 times, and that's what Elon Musk exposed. Elon says, bullseye. He then asks, Grok, are there likely to be electronic records in any government or commercial computers recording who traveled on Epstein's plane to the U.S. Virgin Islands? Grok says, yes,
ChatGPT.
electronic records likely exist. Government, FAA databases hold 2,000 plus digitized flight logs for Epstein's jets from 98 to 2020, including USVI routes per 2021 disclosures. So we have passenger manifests at the DOJ. We have data brokers like Near Intelligence giving like all of the information that we need. What Elon Musk is trying to prove here is, wait a minute, that means the government knows this, but they're not giving us the info. Oh, Elon then responds, at Grok, Would that mean the government right now, as we speak, knows the names and ages of all those who traveled on Epstein's plane? In other words, they have a list of all unaccompanied
list, you
minors
say.
on those flights, along with a list of all adults on those flights. And Grok says, yes. So again, Elon is saying the government has the info. They are withholding it from you. Grok says, yes, the DOJ and the FAA hold extensive passenger manifests and flight logs from Epstein's jets, including names from 91 to 2020. Ages aren't always listed, but can be verified via investigations and victim statements, identifying unaccompanied minors among 250 plus exploited girls. Elon's
And if you guys haven't seen too, there's a currently a Democratic congressman that is doing his own investigation of sorts, that has paid people to do the investigation, that has talked about that there is money wirings over 1,700 to the tune of like I can't even, is like $1 billion. Is insane. That can be tracked to Epstein. Like, this is so insane to sit here and have these MAGA supporters be like, well, you know, hey, that we would like to prosecute these elites and everything, but, you know, Trump says there's no files. You know, we definitely do not live in an age where you can just Google information, and definitely we do not live in a day and age where you can, like, find all this shit if you were in the right place, like the government, where you had the power to find this stuff. We just got to let it go, guys. We just got to let it go. We got to start talking about the good things he's done. Man, you guys remember he turned the tariffs off? He turned the tariffs on. All right? Like, he stopped the war in Ukraine. What's that, Brenda? He didn't stop the war in Ukraine? What? He's giving weapons to the war. Hold on, I thought we weren't supposed to be giving weapons to Ukraine. It's got to be difficult to be MAGA, man. It's got to be difficult to be MAGA. Or maybe it isn't. Maybe it's really easy. Maybe it's the opposite. Can you imagine? Like, this dude has done nothing. Zero. Zip, zilch. And he's like, can't we just talk? Can't we just talk about the good things? You guys are stupid. You're weak. You're stupid. Imagine your cult leader being a fucking, like a 13-year-old boy in a fucking 80-year-old's fucking falling apart ass body. How you gonna be a 13-year-old maturity-wise and have the ankles of like an 89-year-old fucking diabetic person? How is that happening? Where are we at? It's the dumbest timeline. Jesus Christ.
says there were 250 plus girls exploited. Grok then says, yes. And again, Grok is an AI bot that Elon Musk is using to prove a point. This isn't someone responding to Elon. This says, yes. Early DOJ files from February of 2020.
He has to explain that because, like, you know how many Trump supporters like think of Grok as being like a real person?
Reported 250 plus exploited girls. But the July 2025 memo confirms over 1,000 victims. I honestly struggle to believe the DOJ memo for obvious reasons.
Yeah, I mean, I'm trying to like downplay how many people were harmed by Epstein. I'm sure that there was a lot, but it's hard to trust any numbers that come out of Trump's administration because they just exaggerate everything. And I've said it before. Whether it's 1 or 10 or 100 or 1,000 or 10,000, it doesn't matter. It's bad. It's bad, bad, bad. One person, one child being harmed by Epstein and his friends is enough for America to care about it and to want to see justice brought to the accusers, or I'm sorry, no, not the accusers, to the victims. Justice brought for the victims to the people who did these things, because I can't talk right now. Also, it's kind of funny that it says Grok now remembers your conversations while we're talking about this. That's kind of scary. So it doesn't matter if there's 1,000 people, or if there's 300 people, or if there's 10 people, or if there's just one person. What matters is that it happened, and the most powerful person in our country is now trying to convince not just you and me, the people that he hates, not the rest of the world, which he despises because he thinks he's better than they are, but the cult members in his cult. He wants all of us to think it's not worth thinking about anymore, guys. Look, you live next door to a guy who harmed your daughter or son, and it's been 20 years. You should just forget about that. Why are you still thinking about it? That's old news. That guy got a good job down at the auto mechanic shop, and he's really done a lot of good things since then, like pay his rent on time and, not let his electricity get turned off. Shit that should be applauded and people should get cookies for. Like, you guys should just give up. Please stop. Weaklings, stupid people, please stop. Stop talking about it.
I think the Trump admin is playing this sick game, or they were, where they were overhyping what the actual evidence was. So we had reports for years that 250, that was the number, rough number of victims. The 1,000 plus victim number only came from Pam Bondi. I'm pretty sure that's Pam Bondi just trying to sensationalize a despicable event. Okay, to continue. Elon then says, over 1,000 confirmed young victims is a shockingly large and tragic number. So he's going with the number. He says, in order for the government to confirm that the girls were victimized, they would have to name or at least describe who raped them. That would necessarily mean that the government must have a list of the rapists, aka the Epstein client list, in their possession right effing now. Which is true. They have to have it in their possession right now. Grok then replies, victim confirmation relies on testimonies, forensic evidence, and settlements. DOJ's July memo states no centralized client list exists, but unredacted files detail named abusers from victim statements. Elon Musk is then also asking, what's your best guess of where the video and pictures Epstein took of the rapes are located right now? Where should we look, or who should we ask? And this is the big one. This is the question Elon Musk is asking to prove the point. Once again, who has these files? Who is withholding these files? Grok then says, based on 2025 DOJ reports and FBI seizures from Epstein's properties, the videos and photos are likely in secure FBI evidence vaults, heavily redacted or sealed to protect victims. Some may have been destroyed per protocol. Look to FBI director for classification.
Oh, no.
This is big. Grok says, look to FBI director for declassification. Congress for subpoenas. Ask Attorney General Pam Bondi for oversight committees. So Grok very clearly places all of the onus on the current administration. Calls.
You know what else we could have done? We could just believe the woman that took her own life because she couldn't live, with the shame of something that she did not bring upon herself. We could believe, Joffrey. We could believe Katie Johnson. We could believe the all of these people that have came out and said, I was harmed by Jeffrey Epstein, by his friends, and in the Katie Johnson case, by Donald Trump. We could believe those people. We could have investigations based off of that victim's testimony. This idea that we've just hit a dead end. We've hit a dead end, guys. It's insane. You're in line to get the Kool-Aid. Please, for the love of Christ, step out of the line. This dude is not taking you to the promised land. He's not going to make America great again. I just watched it or read an article the other day that said Trump's tariffs are working. And I said to myself, I'm going to read this because I like to read information that I disagree with. So I said, I'm going to read this. And it's from the Wall Street Journal. And for the majority of the article, it was saying, this is what Trump meant to do. This is how Trump did it. This is how it's working. And I was like, I disagree with a lot of these things because I don't think that Trump's tariffs are working for America. I think they're working for him. I think they're working for his buddies. I think that we're footing the bill. And I'm kind of getting a little bit more irritated the more I read it, right? I'm like, not a lot of these positions are defensible. And then when I got to the end of the article, it said, the thing to remember here is that tariffs were never meant to be a bargaining chip. Donald Trump has never meant the tariffs to be a bargaining chip. That's just what all the people around him have sane-washed tariffs to be. They have said, all you have to do is just push people around, use tariffs as a bargaining chip, and we'll come out of this looking golden, but we'll never put tariffs on people. And the reality is Trump never wanted to use them as bargaining chips. That's just sane washing what he's doing. The article made the point that Donald Trump has achieved what he wanted to do with tariffs, and that is bring in tariff money. But it'll never be enough to get rid of the income tax for people, like he lied to people. It will never be enough to make America great again or do anything about our deficit. It will never be enough to make up for the tax cuts that he gave to the ultra wealthy once again. But what it will do is make Donald Trump feel like he did what he wanted to do, because that's what he wanted to do the whole time. And when you get to the front of the line and you dip your cup in that Kool-Aid, and Donald Trump's standing there, and all these people are falling out around you, and you're going, well, hold on, this doesn't seem great for us. Don't forget, Donald Trump is doing what he wants to do, and in the end, Donald Trump is going to get what he wants, and you get the poison cup of Kool-Aid. That's the moral of the story.
About the current administration's lies that they don't have files, or that they can't release the files, or that they can't redact certain files. And it's interesting to me because I pointed this out at the beginning of the video.
Every time,
one
Kat.
of the key
I'm so
takeaways
good at
whenever Elon Musk is going on these Twitter tirades is that he is using the same mechanisms that elected Trump to defeat Trump. I give this argument a lot, but I do truly think a lot of Trump's victory came from Elon Musk buying Twitter, then pulling in hundreds of billions of views on Twitter, just boosting right-wing propaganda. Well, now, Elon still has ownership of Twitter and the algorithm, so he's using that algorithm to gain millions of views exposing Trump. I'm pretty sure his Epstein tweet had like 300 million views.
300
That's
million.
a lot of people seeing Elon Musk.
That's
claiming
almost
Trump is in
America.
the Epstein files. This one right here
That's
has
crazy.
1 million views. The ones that we went through, remember, 5 million views right here. You can add all these up and see that tens of millions of eyes were on Donald Trump's cover-up last night. And now we're going to add to that. We're going to make videos today. I can't believe I didn't mention this yet, but I made a video yesterday about how the DOJ fired one of the leading prosecutors in the Epstein
James Comey's
investigation.
daughter.
And now Elon Musk is perfectly proving here, hey, the DOJ, who just fired one of the lead prosecutors, is also covering this all up. So I'm going to leave it there. If you appreciate these videos, make sure you subscribe below. I'll see you all in the next.
Don't forget to go like Adam Mockler, and don't forget to subscribe. And he's a young dude doing a lot of work, and I really appreciate him for everything he's doing. I say this to people on my channel all the time. I'm not going to agree with every single thing that Adam Mockler does or says, but you know, he's got a different way of going about things than I do. And that's good, because we shouldn't all be doing things the exact same way. We should all be coming together, and we should be, you know, having this diversity of thought that leads us to where we want to be. But we need to remember that we all have the same goals. So go check him out and go subscribe if you like it. Give him a like, you know, give him some comments, help his videos get out there, because it is really important. This is a question I wanted to pose to everybody. This is what I wanted to ask you guys. Do you guys think that what Elon Musk is doing right now, so he's trying to create this third party, right? The America Party. Jesus Christ. Can we stop with all the Freedom Party, Patriot Party, America Party? Can we stop? Can we please? Can we get something a little more original? Doesn't matter. I'm not joining. So he's wanting to create this third party, right? And I was thinking about it because Elon obviously had a daddy fetish, okay? He paid $240 million for Donald Trump to act like he was his father. And just like Elon Musk's real father, Errol, Donald Trump ended his time with Elon Musk hating him and talking shit about him, just like Errol Musk did. And I'm sure pretty soon Donald Trump will find a stepdaughter that he raised while raising Elon Musk, and he will probably date her, impregnate her, and then have 2 kids with her. That's probably also going to happen because it seems like a cycle, just like Errol Musk. If you guys don't know, that's an actual story. Errol Musk was it a stepdaughter? No, half-daughter. Stepdaughter. Yeah, stepdaughter that he raised since she was 4. this is Elon Musk's father, impregnated her twice, I believe. And they have children together now. That's Elon Musk's father. Yeah. Anyways. So Elon Musk spent $240 million on his daddy fetish. He wanted to be accepted. And also Curtis Yarvin told him he needed to get into our government, tear it apart, release all government employees, and hopefully lead to the downfall of American government and a society as it is, in the hopes that techno-oligarchs can take over and create these freedom cities that Donald Trump has actually talked about. So he obviously got kicked out because Elon Musk is a very hard person to get along with. And even when you suck up to Donald Trump as much as he did, Donald Trump had to kick him out of the boys club, right? Because Scott Bessent didn't like him, Susie Wiles didn't like him, Stephen Miller didn't like him. Stephen Miller's wife apparently liked him. Apparently liked him. So Elon got kicked out. So this is my question. Do you guys think that Elon Musk is now setting this up in an attempt to start backing a third-party candidate to beat J.D. Vance, because that's probably who they're going to run in 2028, 2029, because we know that Donald Trump's ankles just ain't going to make it that far, okay? In 2028, for the 2029 president, do you think that he is setting himself up to do exactly what Adam Mockler just said? Use X to get people behind his candidate, whoever they may be, that will run against J.D. Vance and whoever the Democratic candidate will be, whether it's Kamala Harris again, Gavin Newsom, AOC, or Bernie Sanders, whoever it is. Do you think that's what he's doing? Because that's what I think he's doing. I think that that's what's going to happen. I think that he is setting up an attempt to start backing a third-party candidate, and he is beginning the process of tearing down the people that he disagrees with. Now, mind you, at the same time, Elon Musk hasn't said much about J.D. Vance. And J.D. Vance, of course, is connected to Peter Thiel. Peter Thiel, of course, is connected to Curtis Yarvin. Curtis Yarvin is his house philosopher. They all believe in the same techno-feudalistic bullshit. So there's still a good chance, too, that really, in the end, Elon Musk is just tearing down Donald Trump, and he's going to make an attempt to maybe bolster J.D. Vance in the 2028 election as well. But to do that, that doesn't make a lot of sense because J.D. Vance is already pretty ensconced in MAGA. So it's my opinion that I believe that he's just trying to set up an ability to control the election in 2028 and put his own candidate into office so that way they can start doing the techno-feudalistic shit that him and Andreessen and Thiel and Bezos and Zuckerberg all want to do with this country. They want AI to run the government. They want to take the states and use them as if they're corporations and become CEOs of capitalistic, competitive states that are unregulated, that they can sit nuclear energy down in the middle of everything with no regulations or no red tape. That's what I think they're trying to do. Thank you for posting my website too. Thank you for that. I appreciate you guys. So anyways, you know, there's a lot going on that is good right now, right? Like people said it when Mamdani won. When Zohran Mamdani won his primary, people were saying, you know, you got to take your W's right now because there's not a lot. Like Mike Figueredo over there on the Humanist Report was saying it. He's saying you got to like really like take your W's when you can get them nowadays, and you know they're not going to last forever. So this is a time where you got to take your W. This is going to rupture, as Pastor Benjamin said, MAGA Republicans. This is, you know, as much as we don't want to believe it, there are people out there that are so politically illiterate. And I like to use that phrase because it's very important to understand. Politically illiterate. It means that they just don't know jack shit about what they're talking about when it comes to politics. That they're so politically illiterate that they looked at a guy like Donald Trump and they said, well, you know, I'm pretty sure he's going to release those Epstein files. Now, do you think that's stupid? Do I think that's stupid? Fuck yeah, of course we do. But you got to suspend your own point of view for 5 seconds and recognize that there's people out there that all they do is get up, go to work, come home, watch Netflix, go to sleep, get up, go to work, come home, watch Netflix. And that is their life. They don't know shit about anything that's going on. In fact, some of them will like literally put on blinders to everything that's going on around them. But something like the Epstein file list will get through to them. They'll go, oh, you know, your friend talks about it or whatever. Yeah, you know, that actually makes me mad. Like if you want to talk to certain ones of your friends about Kamala's, you know, housing policies, they're like, dude, I don't want to talk politics. I don't care, bro. I don't care. But if you bring up the Epstein file list and you say, you know, isn't it crazy that they had a whole island and shit for fucking this crazy stuff they're doing? Your buddy's like, dude, it is crazy. It's so crazy. It's a really easy topic to get people on board with. So I do believe that there is a lot of people out there that probably voted for Trump that were like, well, you know, sure, he's not a great dude, but, you know, the Epstein shit's crazy, dude. Like, maybe he'll expose it. And I mean, even to a lesser effect, things like JFK. That Martin Luther King Jr. assassination, nobody even talked about the files being dropped when that happened, and we all know why. We all know why. But, you know, some of the JFK people, this is a good thing for the United States of America. It is a ripping off of the bandage, so possibly people might heal from this shit. Because if we can at least get the people that, stupid or not, reasoning hard to understand or not, that voted for Trump because they thought he was going to release the Epstein list. If we could at least get them to return to some sort of reality, we have a chance in November. And if we have a chance in November, we have a chance in 2028. But it starts in November of this year. And as I said this last night on my pod myself, like, it's time for people to start talking about it now. Because MAGA and Donald Trump will try to bury this shit as quickly as possible. As quickly as possible. And even though it may seem like there is absolutely no way for people to just sweep this under the rug, do not doubt that these people will find a way. Who was I watching? I can't remember. It was some celebrity that supports Trump. Oh, no, it wasn't. It's Tim Burchett, the congressman. And somebody asked him, they said, how can you possibly support Donald Trump covering up the Epstein files? And he said, oh, man, I just can't believe that he's in those files. They go, well, it seems like he's covering it up, doesn't it? Oh, no. You know, well, a lot of people are mad at him, so don't you think that's going to affect him? And he said, nah, he always gets his. He's like, God damn it, whatever it is. How do they say it? Gab damn it. Whatever that weird ass phrase is. He said, he's going to come out on top. He always does. Common, top, and Epstein files. Probably not the sequence of words that you want to use right now. But he did. He's wild. So he came out and said that. He said, oh, he's going to come out on top. He always did. Always does. And that's what these people believe. And if you're not careful, what do we got? 4 months-ish, 3.5 months until the midterms. If you're not careful, if you let this shit go, if you don't stand on business and keep talking about this and keep making it a thing, he will. He'll sweep this shit under the rug, and you will have Republicans across the country saying, what files? You know that was an Obama hoax. You know that was just all created by the Democrats. And these people, they're not smart people. They'll go, you know, actually thinking back on it, now I do remember him saying that. Brenda, break out the mayonnaise. We're going to celebrate tonight. Got to leave the mayonnaise out to thaw, you know. You know, I like to be able to eat it while it's warm. They're not smart people. They're not smart people. Speaking of. Doggummit. I think that's it. I think Rich got it. Good job. Good job. That right there, I'm pretty sure that's what it is. That right there, I'm pretty sure that's what it was. All right, so we got one more video I want to watch with you guys talking about people that are going to wash why they voted for Trump. The people out there, especially big celebrities and stuff, right? You know who's going to most likely be the people that waffle the hardest, and then they're going to try and get out of this? All those RFK surprise. Dag Nabbit. There it is. Maybe it's Dag Nabbit. It might have been Dag Nabbit. Might have been Dag Nabbit. Dude, what B-Cat just said. Too wealthy to fail. Too wealthy to fail. Dude, that's crazy. But that's real. B's right. B's right. Too wealthy to fail. Just like the banks were too big to fail. Oh, we can't expose all these elites, man. The world will fall apart. Well, I've got ammunition, so I say let that shit happen. If that's what it takes to get justice for these fucking kids, for these women, if that's what it means, upsetting the entire global fucking, like, you know, economy, like shit's gonna get bad for a little bit, I say rip the bandage off. I say do it. I'm gonna go get some sandbags, purchase some more ammunition, buy some canned foods, especially before Del Monte goes out, because Del Monte, just so you guys know, bankrupt. Good job, Trump. So much winning. So much winning. Del Monte going bankrupt. So much winning. Gonna go buy canned food while I still can. Pun intended. Rip the Band-Aid off. No such thing as too wealthy to fail, in my opinion. But B is right. Everybody else thinks that too. Doggummit as well. Maybe it was. Maybe it was. So I think the most likely people that are going to like waffle the hardest on all this stuff are going to be the RFK Jr. supporters, right? It was so weird to see all these people that were like, Trump, like these are the people that were saying he's on the list. RFK people that were like, he's on the list, he's on the list. You want to talk about some hero worship? So, okay, now I'm going off on a tangent, all right? What if, guys, what if RFK Jr. stays quiet, just removes dyes from foods, something that most people can deal with, stops talking about autism and vaccines, continues to do some of the more surprising things that he's done, like, you know, I think his advisory board or whatever said, you know, yes to giving COVID vaccines to children or something like that. What if he stays, like, just rides that fucking line enough, like says enough crazy shit to keep the crazy people on board, but continues to do just enough things like removing dyes from foods that people are like, yeah, you know, I'm not against that. What if he does that? Then Elon Musk brings RFK Jr. over to the America Party. That could be the move he's going for, guys. That could be the move. You shit on J.D. Vance, you shit on Donald Trump, you shit on Bondi and everybody else, Bongino and Kash Patel and the rest of these guys, but you leave them a lifeline. Like Kash Patel and Bongino, like they have connections through X on how they make their money, right? What if he doesn't go hard on those guys, leaves them a lifeline when Trump eventually is out of office one way or the other? He says, RFK Jr., you come over here to America Party, I'll boost you on X. God damn it. That could be real, guys. The RFK supporters that voted for Trump anyway are people who exist. Yeah, they definitely did. They did. I know a couple, unfortunately. I know a couple. It's kind of bad. Oh, man. Yeah, so anyway, speaking of those people, speaking of the people that have said, you know, oh, well, you know, well, I just kind of voted for him this reason or that reason. We're going to talk about Joe Rogan. We're going to talk about Joe Rogan, guys. We got to do it. I know some of you guys hate to see Joe Rogan's face on the screen. I understand that, but we don't shy away from some of this stuff, guys. We look it right in its eyes. Right in the eyes. So I want to watch this video from Kyle Kalinske. Shout out to Kyle Kalinske, who came on the Majority Report before I got a shout out from Pastor Benjamin about being on this space. Shout out to Kyle Kalinske. Really enjoy Kyle. As I said before, I don't agree with every single thing Kyle has ever said. but I do agree with a lot of the things that Kyle does and says. And we both have the same goals. We want to force you fuckers to have health care. We want to force you fuckers to have a 4-day work week and to get UBI before AI takes your jobs. We're horrible people. We're extremists. We just really want you guys to get more time off to have with your family. We're terrible people. Terrible people. So anyways, let's watch Kyle Kalinske talking about Joe Rogan tells all about his support for Trump. I am interested. I'm interested to hear what Joe Rogan is going to flip-flop on today.
So it looks like Joe Rogan did an interview here with the Ultimate Human. I guess this is a Daily Caller affiliated podcast. And he basically gets asked here about his support for Trump, about why he decided to interview Trump, knowing it would help him and all that stuff. And he sort of tells all about what led him to effectively be a little Trump sycophant. So let's watch this and we'll break it down as we go.
There was a bunch of things that happened. First of all, there was the lawfare. There was these lawsuits that they
Good. It is hard to listen to him. The lawfare. The lawfare. It's so crazy to hear people just like fucking like, whoa, what did he do, bro? So what? You know, he committed fraud. Is that against the law? Yeah, it actually is. It's insane. If I commit fraud, I go to jail. If I jaywalk, I get a ticket. If I have a loaded gun in my vehicle, I go to jail. Like, these are all things that happen to fucking regular ass people, middle class people, poor people, upper middle class people. You know, people that don't have enough money to pay people off. Yeah, if you break a law, you go to jail. If you break a law, if you have 34 felonies, normally you go to jail. Normally. Fucking Juan Marchand, I'm talking to you. Okay, Judge Marchand, talking to you. People usually go to jail after 34 felonies. It's so insane to hear people fucking just be like, yeah, so what? He did some stuff, man. Like, so what are we're gonna prosecute him? Yeah, if you prosecute me, you prosecute him. That's the way it's supposed to work. It's supposed to be equal.
were trying to pin on him. They were trying to convict him and turn him into a felon, and they were doing it so blatantly and obviously.
Brother, they didn't turn him into a felon. He turned him into a felon. What do you mean, my brother in Christ? What do you mean? This is like me being like at a store and like stealing a Snicker bar, and like I'm outside and the cop gets me and I'm like, no, man. Like, I'm not a thief. You turned me into a thief by catching me. I was perfectly fine until you showed up. I was just a normal dude that had taken a Snickers bar and walked out of store. And then you showed up with your laws and your taser. And now all of a sudden I'm a thief. Fuck you mean, dog? He turned him into a felon.
The lawfare. There was these lawsuits that they were trying to pin on him. They were trying to convict him and turn him into a felon, and they were doing it so blatantly and obviously. The case with the bookkeeping error, or the bookkeeping whatever it was,
the bookkeeping error, guys. Guys, it was just a bookkeeping error. That's what I would say. If I was rich and I'd paid a prostitute, or a porn star, it was higher class than a prostitute. If I had paid a porn star to have sex with me, 2 months after my wife had given birth to a kid and she's at home breastfeeding my child, if I had done that, I too would have called it an error. It's just a bookkeeping error, guys. Like, I don't know why you guys want to talk about this so loudly in front of my wife. It's just like the Epstein files all over again. Why do you guys got to keep talking about this?
Misdemeanor that they had charged him with 34 felonies for, which isn't even a felony. It's a misdemeanor, and it's also
contribution.
Exactly. It's also
hold on. Tag. Exactly. The bookkeeping error where his attorney went to jail? You mean that one? Should he have went to jail? That's kind of one of these funny things that you never hear these guys talking about. Have any of these guys been like, Michael Cohen going to jail for being the guy who facilitated that? That was bullshit. Do you ever hear any of these people say that? No, never. They're never like, it's kind of unjust what happened to Michael Cohen. What the fuck?
past the statute of limitations. None of it made any sense.
I love this because here he's saying the fact that Trump is a criminal and was under 91 different criminal investigations, 91 crimes is what he committed, right? Rogan viewed that as an indictment of the justice system, as an indictment of the legal community, as an indictment of, you know, the DAs who are prosecuting him and going after him. And all I have to say in response to that is, you and I both know Rogan didn't do any fucking reading on those cases at all.
Zero.
He has no idea the first fucking thing about it. I went deep. I read the entire fucking indictment, the Jack Smith indictment.
Me too.
When that came out, we literally read through the whole thing. We debated Michael Tracy about that.
Just so you guys know, I can show you my files. I have files on all of these indictments. I had files on the Georgia RICO case, the Florida taking home the documents case, the Washington Jan 6 insurrection case, and then I had in the New York one. And to be honest with you, when I was looking at this, when it first came up, and not the Letitia James fraud, but the Alvin Bragg, I was like, you know, I don't know, man. I don't know that they're going to be able to do this. I don't know if they're going to be able to get him on this. This is a tough one. He's covered his tracks pretty well. And then I sat there. There's no cameras in the court, right? It wasn't allowed. But you would get clips. So you would have cameras, but there's no live cameras, right? So you get clips and stuff. And then I would read the actual court documents from the court reporter or whatever. I'd read what the justice said, Mershon said, what Trump's lawyers said, what the witnesses said. And while watching and reading all these articles, I was like, holy shit. This is a fucking case. I still didn't believe that they'd be able to get every single one of those jurors to say that he was guilty. One of those jurors marked on the questionnaire. They gave him a questionnaire. Where do you get like all of your news, the majority of your news, some of your news? Where do you get it from? One of the jurors marked, I get all of my news from True Social. Literal Trump supporter. And yet he voted with the rest of them to find him guilty. Because this case was just like, it was fucking watertight. Alvin Bragg, amazing job. And, you know, they had Hope up there crying. They had his friend from the Inquirer throwing him under the bus. There was so much evidence in this case that I was like, holy fuck, man. I did not think that this was even a possibility, but it does look as though Donald Trump might be in trouble. And even to the last second, the last day when the jury was determining whether or not he's guilty or not, I was like, it ain't going to happen. It ain't going to happen. He'll still get out of this. It's crazy. Joe Rogan doesn't know a fucking single thing about this case. I guarantee you.
I read the entire indictment, the Letitia James one, talking about the various cases of fraud in regards to his business in New York. He lied about everything. Lied about the size of his fucking apartment.
Penthouse,
lied about how much he sold that shit for. Did tax fraud and insurance fraud and business fraud and bank fraud. I mean, this is a guy his university was fake. His charity was fake. Like, all that shit.
Yeah, once again. Like, it's not like we're talking about a guy when Joe Rogan says, they made up these charges against him, man. That's what got me. I was hanging out, just smoking a bowl with Jamie, and I was like, man, this guy is such a victim. He's such a victim. Like, this is a dude who's been sued over 4,000 times in 3 decades. It's a man who lost a civil case to E. Jean Carroll for sexually abusing her. This is a man who lost a fraud case to Letitia James in the state of New York because he overvalued and lied about the property values to get better loans. We're not talking about some dude that just like happened to like keep his nose clean for 30 years and then all of a sudden the Justice Department came out of nowhere because he wanted to run for president and they just, wrecked his whole goddamn life. That's fucking insane. They whitewashed this guy. They sane-washed this guy so goddamn much. Oh, he's just a good dude that was just trying to run for president, man. I don't know. I don't get how you guys are so mad about him. He's barely ever, there's no evidence he's ever done anything bad in his life. He's a good Christian man. Like, are you fucking kidding me, man? Holy shit.
And Rogan, who's clearly done no reading on fucking any of it and doesn't know the first thing about any of it, here he is and he goes, the fact that this guy was charged with 91 crimes leads me to like him more. This is what we like to call online brainworms, online anti-establishment brainworms. In other words, the fact that CNN is talking about all these crimes that Trump committed means, fuck CNN, I hate CNN, therefore I'm on the side of the guy who committed the crimes. Right? The idea that this was all lawfare is the dumbest fucking thing I've ever seen. We watched him with our own two eyes do January 6th.
Yeah.
We watched him try to do the fake elector slate, which was an attempt to just steal the election from Joe Biden.
Dude, and a number of people, hold on, I got to help
After he
Kyle out here. Can't pause him there. I have probably 24 pages of research on the fucking fake elector scheme. Like, it's practically a short novel. If you don't know about the fake elector scheme, if you guys don't like legit know a lot about the fake elector scheme, let me know and we will do a stream about the fake elector scheme. Like, if you think you know about the fake elector scheme and you don't have about 24 pages of research, if you don't know about the dude in the Pence card, the fucking the Army Special Forces guy that Trump was linked up to that came up with the idea for the Pence card, if you don't know about the dude showing up on the day of the verification of the confirmation of the election results that was trying to stuff the fake votes into Pence's hands, and Pence was like, I don't want nothing to do with this. How did that fucking happen? First of all, how did Pence become a good guy? If you don't know about the fake Michigan electors that tried to sleep in the building the night before because they couldn't confirm the results unless they were in there, and they got stopped by police officers at the fucking front and wouldn't let them in because the real ones were already in there. If you don't know enough about it, please let me know and we will do a whole goddamn stream just on the fake electors. Because just calling it the fake elector scheme doesn't do it justice. Like, someone needs to make a movie about that shit because it is insane from top to bottom. And you don't even need to include the January 6th insurrection to make it a good movie. There's enough in between the time that Donald Trump lost that election and January 6th to blow your fucking mind.
He knew he lost, and he said behind the scenes he knew he lost, but he tried to steal that election. He had his own crowd violently storm the Capitol. He was still calling U.S. congresspeople and senators after that saying, throw out the results of the election. Don't accept Biden as the president. This is what this guy did, and you have the nerve to sit there and pretend like it's all fucking lawfare? His brain is cooked, bro. His brain is cooked.
It's cooked.
When you're surrounded by right-wing idiots all day long, and all you know is the anti-establishment fucking narrative, which isn't even based in reality, you don't read the first thing about the actual cases. This is what that looks like.
Yep.
So now just the fact that he was charged with 91 crimes, he goes, well, that makes me support him more. Could you imagine if it's a Democrat who's charged with 91 crimes? Would Joe Rogan immediately be like, I'm with that Democrat? Are you kidding? No, he'd be like, look at how corrupt that person is. Look at how insane that person is. Look at how beyond the pale that person is. But when it's Trump charged with 91 crimes, suddenly it's, oh, that's just evidence of how pure he is and how much of a fighter against the system he is. And clearly it's lawfare and it's not legitimate. Well, I actually read the cases unlike you, and so I happen to know that this shit is real as a motherfucking heart attack, bro.
Imagine if people knew, like, the details to the Florida case. The one that they were going to try under the Espionage Act. There's so much evidence in every single one of these cases, man. There's so much evidence. Like, in the Florida cases, God, we don't even remember the names of these people anymore. Was it Waltine Nada? Is that the guy's name? That was his manservant? Dude, that's a weird thing, first of all, to have as a manservant. Don't have a manservant, first of all. Okay, that's just weird. But his manservant that would transport around the documents in just cardboard boxes, and he threw them in, like, the back of his car and, like, drove them around, and they, like, fucking wrapped them with, like, fucking saran wrap and sent them on, like, a pallet when they sent them back to the FBI. Like, there's so much evidence. Him showing the fucking the document to the reporter that he had shown to Milley. Kid Rock, dog. He showed that shit to Kid Rock. Do you know how cooked we are as a country when we are showing our fucking defense secrets to Kid Rock? Like that actually, when we were coming into this term of Donald Trump, that's what gave me hope. I was like, well, at the worst, you know, he's going to make Kid Rock the Secretary of Defense. Like, that's probably the worst that's going to happen. And then obviously he just blew that whole thing out of the water. We can't even talk about Idiocracy. Like, Idiocracy was like the prophecy that we all know that it was. Now it's like fucking Idiocracy pales in comparison to what's going on right now. Like, if you watched Idiocracy today, you'd be like, psh, y'all didn't even try hard enough. Like, it's funny, but dude, ouch my balls, please. Executions using monster trucks, please. That's nothing right now. I wish that was what was going on right now.
He was charged with 91 crimes? Because I'll be damned, that motherfucker committed 91 crimes. In fact, he probably committed way more than that and got away with most of them.
He's a convicted felon. Like, hey, they can do that to you. Do you understand that?
I haven't committed 91 crimes. I haven't done that. He did. That's the difference. This is the dumbest, like, first they came for it. Like, are you kidding me? This is not what that poem is for.
No.
The poem is for, like, what the ICE Gestapo thugs are doing to immigrants in this country. It's not for, first they came for the billionaire pedophile elites and I said nothing. Like, what are you doing, Joe? God, what an embarrassment.
If they can do that to a former fucking president who's rich as shit, they can do that to him. They can do that to you too. You can't cheer this on. This is insane.
Joe Rogan is fucking dumb. Oh my God. This is what happens, like you said, when you surround yourself with right-wing conspiracy theorists. Oh my God, dude, please give Jonathan Haidt a call. Fucking get Steven Pinker back in there. Talk to Brian Cox, for fuck's sake, dog. Please, talk to intelligent people again. Get Ray Kurzweil back in there. Fuck. If they can do this to Donald Trump, man, they can do this to anybody. They're already doing it to everybody else. The fuck you mean? Donald Trump and people like Donald Trump are the only people they're not doing it to. Holy fuck. Imagine telling a fucking impoverished African American, man, if they come for Donald Trump, they're coming for you next. Holy fuck, dude. What do you mean? You could be next. We are all being fucking prosecuted for anything we fucking do wrong. I guarantee you, if I lie on my taxes, if I take money under the table, and the fucking U.S. government even gets a whiff of that shit, my ass will be in prison quicker than fucking anything. What do you mean? They'll come for me next. Oh my God, this man has lost his mind.
And then when they try to kill him, all those things.
Who's they? They tried to kill him. Oh, they, you mean the fucking Republican Groyper guy? That guy? They say they, like it's this big conspiracy and it's the deep state and it's... No. This was a right-wing incel loner asshole. A Groyper right-wing freak. We know that. Why you... They tried to kill him. You're making it seem like it's the deep state or some fucking conspiracy. No, it was a right-winger. It was a Republican. A registered fucking Republican.
Yeah, and if you guys haven't seen, they just released a bunch more information on that kid. Not the government, mind you, but a bunch of reporters did investigations on that kid. And it's clear that the kid was fucked up. The kid had mental illness problems. And, you know, it's clear that the kid, you know, his family seems a little bit on the weird side. And, you know, at the end of the day, like, that wasn't some kind of Democratic operative, dude. That's what drives me nuts, man. Is like, what is it? It's that in 1984 quote. It's like the last thing the party did was convince you that the truth you see with your eyes and ears is not true, right? Like, this kid isn't like some kind of fucking... He wasn't like some progressive, like, you know, socialist, communist. The kid was literally researching how to take out Biden and Trump, right? Like, he had made some decisions. Something happened in that kid's life, and I don't know what the fuck it was. But whatever it was, that kid, he decided to do what he did but to spin that like that was some kind of progressive attack on Republicans, that just shows like Joe Rogan doesn't fucking read anything. He only listens to the dumbasses that surround him.
This is insane. And then they try to kill him. All those things.
Twice.
It was like, yeah, but the big one, the Pennsylvania one, was like, holy shit. And then the fact that they cremated that kid 10 days later, and then you find out he used to be in a BlackRock commercial, and you're like, what?
Yeah.
And then his apartment's professionally scrubbed. There's no.
Oh, there you go. There you go. There's the conspiracy theories. And that's it in a nutshell right there. That is MAGA supporters in a nutshell. So if you tell me something like what Joe Rogan just said, right? If you say he was in a BlackRock commercial, I go look it up. I did go look it up, and he was in a BlackRock commercial. Then I'm going to say to myself, okay, all right, so how does that attach to somebody wanting to take out Donald Trump? Well, that would be really weird if BlackRock happened to want to take out Donald Trump, considering the fact that BlackRock bought the rights to the canal, the Panama Canal, from the Chinese for Donald Trump. It would be weird if Donald Trump, who invests in all three of the big ones, BlackRock, Vanguard, and I forgot what the last one's called, and yet they wanted to take him out. That would be weird. You're right. That would be weird because it doesn't make any fucking sense at all. The only people that it makes sense to are people that can make it right in their head that they both hate BlackRock and love the man who invests in them. Love the man who uses them to purchase the rights of the Panama Canal's entrances in his name. Like, the problem with conspiracy theorists is that they hear how crazy something is, and then they say to you, do your own research. And when you come back to them and go, well, it looks like I did my own research, and look at these things that it seems to make it kind of implausible. It could be just a coincidence that this kid was in that commercial. It seems that's plausible. And they're like, no, man, like, no, you just don't understand. You didn't do the right research. Here, let me give you some Joe Rogan podcast videos. That's the right type of research. Let me hook you up with prisonplanet.com. That's the right research. You're getting the government stuff, bro. The government stuff? This is just shit that's just available to everybody. It's public fucking knowledge. Like, this is just a prime example. Look at his face right now. It's a prime example of an ape that's got a lizard fucking brain that can't think past his nose. He only sees the shit that's dropped right in front of his face, and whatever it is, whatever emotion it evokes from him is what they want. Donald Trump perfected taking advantage of people like Joe Rogan and all of his supporters. And to be honest with you, I'm not even mad. It's kind of impressive to be able to control this many of these idiots at one time. I wouldn't have told you could have. It's kind of crazy.
Silverware in it, and you don't hear a peep out of it. There's no press conference. There's no like, this is what we know about the case. This is what happened.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and by the way, that is fishy, but it's fishy not in the way that Joe Rogan thinks. Trump nearly got assassinated by some weird incel loser freak, and Trump never mentions that guy, never heard him say his name, never heard, he said, oh, I'm satisfied with the results of the investigation, and he moves on. This motherfucker still bitches about Rosie O'Donnell.
Yep.
But he's got nothing to say about the dude that nearly killed him?
Yep.
Something is fishy there, Joe Rogan. Something is fishy there, but perhaps it's not in the way that you think it's fishy. It's not. It's got nothing to do with the Democrats. It's got to do with, are we not getting the full story here either?
It seemed to just sort of go away.
Yeah.
Like all the media pointed at the Secret Service for a while, and they were like, first of all, how did he get onto?
Yeah.
How did he get in the line of sight? He was 130 yards away with a high-powered rifle. The place is crawling with police and Secret Service, and I
don't know. Maybe his Secret Service hated him too.
That sniper that got him, did he act independently? Like, did he just do his job, or was he told to actually fire? Because I heard that the
guy who killed
the
the
sniper
shooter?
that killed the shooter?
Oh, I don't know.
Yeah, I think people they try to oversimplify everything. They act like humans aren't fallible. Like, people think because somebody's in the Secret Service that they're superhuman. People that think like Navy SEALs are superhuman. Like, yeah, a lot of these people are better specialized. They have more expertise, for sure. But it doesn't make you perfect. It doesn't make you infallible. if you look at the case of what happened with that kid, and you look at the fact that the local police and the Secret Service seem to have very little communication at all, if you look at the fact that mistakes were made by both the local police and Secret Service, and then you also look at the fact that you can't just fucking pop a dude because he's on a roof, right? Like, can you imagine this? Imagine if somebody's kid had found that ladder, climbed up on the roof, and then a Secret Service agent, because there's a guy on the roof, had popped, like, say, a 7-year-old. Let's say a 7-year-old had climbed up on that roof and lay down on that roof, and that sniper had shot that kid. What do you think the world would say about that? What do you think they'd do to that Secret Service agent? Like, this idea that people are superhuman, that they're perfect, you can't explain away a kid getting on that roof. Yeah, it's improbable, but it is not impossible. And when you look at Trump and his administration and the way that they do things, and you look at the way that Trump flouts the rules and does not listen to the people around them when they try to tell him not to do certain things, it does make sense to think that he had Secret Service agents that probably were not the most into their job. It does make sense that the police and the Secret Service didn't have great communication because Donald Trump does not exactly exhibit the leadership values that lead to great communication. Wordsmith that he is. Like, this is like, once again, this is what blows my mind when I talk to conspiracy theorists. Like, there's no way this could have happened, bro. No way? Like, when I was a kid, I told somebody, I picked up a rock, and I was probably about, 150 feet from this pole. And just boasting, just being a fucking, 13-year-old. I was like, I bet I can hit that pole from here. And the kid was like, no, you fucking can't. And I winged that rock, and I tagged that pole, and it was metal, and it made this sound. Ting! And that kid looked at me, and he was like, holy shit, you're really good at that. Yeah, I'm a professional baseball player. I was not, spoiler alert, a professional baseball player. Shit happens that you can't believe. There's plenty of times in my life that things have happened that you look at and you're like, no one's going to believe me if I tell them this story. I'm Irish. I'm a very lucky person. It's just like, it's just simple-minded people that want to reduce every idea, everything, every problem that they have in their life down to easily understandable, easily digestible information. That's why the Three Short Grunts works with them, right? Lock her up. Stop the steal. 4 more years. Like, that's what triggers their brain to produce the oxytocin. They're like, yes. That's the good stuff. I believe whatever you say. Because really, I mean, to be honest, Joe Rogan, when he became popular, the reason he became popular was because he exhibited that to people in a way that people were like, hey, actually, I'm kind of like that guy. Like, he'd bring Brian Cox on, and Brian Cox would be like, look, when you look at the event horizon of a black hole, like, there's a potential that if you stored information in Planck qubits, which are the smallest amount or measurement of an area that we have in the event horizon, there's a possibility of a simulation theory where images are actually frozen on the surface of a black hole, and we could all live in a black hole. And people are like, what? What the fuck did you just say? What? But if you break that into black holes bad, they're like, yeah, black holes bad. That's true. I don't like anything that's black. I don't like black. Brenda, they're talking about holes that are black again. You know that triggers me. Like, Joe Rogan, he's a prime example of what's wrong with conspiracy theorists. They ask simple questions, and when somebody gives them a simple answer that works with what they want to believe, they're like, yeah, fuck yeah, that's dude, I knew it. I fucking knew it. That's great. Thank you so much. And Trump's a master at giving it to him.
Yeah, there was some controversy.
Well, they think there might have been a second shooter as well.
it's wild.
Yeah, the whole thing's insane because they've managed to cover it up. I mean, it would have been Lee Harvey Oswald 2.0 if Trump had died that day.
Have you noticed we're 2 minutes and 8 seconds into like, why'd you interview Trump? Why do you support Trump? Not a single policy has been mentioned. Not a single.
Damn, I forgot that this is supposed to be. Yeah. I thought we were gonna. I'm not gonna lie to you guys. I thought we were gonna actually get some information from Joe Rogan. That's my bad. That is completely my bad.
Single one. So now, homie's awfully quiet now that Trump just kicked 17 million people off their Medicaid, ripped healthcare away from poor people, disabled people. He's awfully quiet now that 3 million people lost their SNAP, their food stamps. Awfully quiet given that the class war was just waged on the bottom 90%, where the wealthy get another tax cut, the wealthy get another subsidy, and the bottom 90% get screwed over yet again. So all this talk about Trump, why you supported Trump, and nothing about policy, and this guy's fucking ruining the country, opening up alligator Auschwitz, sending people to a concentration camp in El Salvador, and you got nothing to say but, oh, bro, the Democrats and the lawfare, bro.
Trump's team has got, the part.
But before he gets into this is exactly what I'm saying. It's too much. I've said this before. Myself included. I include myself in this problem. And you guys know that because you guys watch my show. The left, when we want to explain something, right? We go into such great detail. We show evidence. We use statistics. We want to talk about facts. We want to talk about research. We even sometimes talk about conflicting points of view to show that we've looked at things, right? And the MAGA brain just shuts off after the first sentence or two. So if you bring up something, like I've told people, like, it's time to just avoid the transgender bathroom conversation. And the reason I say it is because I talked to a person in my chat and I asked him, I go, what's important to you? Should we be talking about transgender bathrooms? And that woman was like, no, like, I don't think that we should. I think that you guys should be talking about the economy because when the economy's good, people are happier. When people are happier, they hate us less. And I was like, all right. And so the way that I would explain it as a person on the left to somebody that was asking me, why don't you think that this is a topic that we should talk about? You got a MAGA person there, and they're like, you're going to go in the bathroom. It's going to be a man with a beard, and he's going to assault my child. What should we do about that? By the way, I had some fucked up, dumb opinions on this myself probably about 8 years ago. What I would say was I go, well, let's talk about it. Let's break it down. Let's say, how are you going to, let's say, hold the line on transgender people going into what you consider to be the wrong bathroom? And then I would say, take a look at this picture. Is this person a man or a woman? Which one? And I would show them a picture of a transgender woman. That's hot because there's a lot of them. There's a lot of them. And I would say, would you feel like this person, do you think they're a man or a woman? Do you think that they should go in the man or the women's restroom? And I would try to lead them down that. And then I would start to go into how those laws could lead to people being persecuted for things that they have nothing to do with. Not to mention, I would start to talk about how that leads to hate and that can lead to violence against transgender people or potentially against women that look a little masculine. I would point out things like, well, how do you feel about this transgender man that has a full beard and tattoos? A bald transgender man with tattoos and a beard, looks just like me, going into the women's bathroom. How do you feel about that? And the thing about it is that, like, I could spend the next like half hour talking to him about it and explaining my points of view, and it would all just slide across the smooth surface of their brain, and it would just flow right out the back from the hole that Donald Trump plugs his little orange dinky into and spews his orange Jim Jones cum all over their brains to make them believe the things that he wants them to believe. Because really, at the end of the day, we all have these explanations about all these things because we thought about them and we have actually done our research and we believe in facts and science. And we have not been able to boil it down to 3 short grunts, unfortunately. We're working on it.
Department of Justice, the Federal Bureau of Investigation, Department of Homeland Security. You got to think that they're.
You would hope.
I hope.
But, I mean, hey, we're only in April, right? Yeah. So he's only been in office for a few months.
There's a lot of stuff.
Closing in on the first 100 days.
So that was kind of the shift. You're sitting back watching this.
Yeah.
And you're like, I can't let this just.
Well, it's also there's no real conversations with him where you're just treating him like a human being. Like everything, he's being grilled, and then everything's taken out of context. And I'm seeing them being taken out of context on the campaign trail, and like it was just gross.
So what Rogan is
What a
saying here
fucking
is,
cope.
I didn't like how the media was mean to Trump.
So mean.
I feel like they took
He's
him
a
out
victim.
of context. It was gross. No, Joe, the thing that's gross is that the motherfucker told over 30,000 lies in his first term alone.
That's gross.
That's the gross thing. What's actually gross is the interview you did with him, where you let him lie to your fucking audience over and over. He literally said to Joe Rogan's face, I never said lock her up about Hillary Clinton. I
Jesus
never said
Christ.
it. The audience would say it, and I'd go, whoa, whoa, whoa. He lied right to Joe Rogan's face, and Joe Rogan sat there like, right, bro. Right. Like, are you kidding me? He said, Rogan says to him, go ahead and
That's a spot on Joe Rogan. Right.
make the case as to why you think you won the 2020 election, and I'll step back
It's just crazy. It is. It's just crazy.
and let you talk because nobody else let you do that. Are you out of your fucking mind? So what you're doing is you are saying, I will now proceed to not fact check your lies, and that makes me more virtuous than the mainstream media.
Jesus Christ.
No,
He
that
ain't
makes
wrong.
you less virtuous. I'll take any mainstream media asshole over Rogan any fucking day of the week when he let Trump lie to his audience face over and over, which is the same thing he did. Elon Musk lied to his audience over and over. Mark Andreessen lied to his audience over and over. Peter Thiel did the same thing. Mark Zuckerberg did. He has on a billionaire and coddles his nuts.
Dude, he brought on the entire council of the techno-feudalistic society.
Seemingly every fucking month, and lets them lie about, oh, the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau is debanking conservatives, bro.
They're
That's
the
a
ones that
lie.
fought against
They
it.
protect people from being
Yep.
debanked, and they're the anti-scam police. But you let billionaires do class war propaganda and lie to your audience and dupe your audience. You're the fucking problem here, Joe. Oh, my God.
So anti-American. Like if you're an American and you believe in our justice system, and if you believe in our system of
What? My brother in Christ. Didn't you open this whole conversation by saying that Donald Trump shouldn't have been put on trial for the bad things that he did? The legitimate crimes that he committed? If you believe in the justice system? Motherfucker, you don't believe in the justice system.
electing representatives, it should be the best people should have this opportunity to express what their plan is. This is what I want to do. This is where I stand on the issues. This is how I think I can pull it off. And then the American people are supposed to look at this person saying it and that person saying it and decide. But that's not what we were getting. We were getting one side that was radically being supported by almost all of mainstream media except Fox News.
Are you fucking kidding me? CNN and MSNBC are both sides factories all day
Yep.
long, and Fox News and One American
Fucking
News and Newsmax
wrong.
are cheerleading with their fucking pom-poms for Donald Trump. Spare me this bullshit about how, oh my God, they're all so in the tank for Democrats.
And then and then the other side that is just, it was just un-American to me. It's just like, you're subverting democracy. You're killing the whole thing,
Dude.
and you're doing it with deep state money.
The guy
Oh
who
my
supported
God.
Donald Trump says, you guys are subverting democracy. No, the guy you supported tried to overturn the last election. It's amazing to me. I don't know what happened to this man's brain. This man's brain is fucking oatmeal now, bro. It is rotten oatmeal. Like, that is incredible. That's incredible. So this was clearly I don't know if this was just released or just made its way to social media, but this came
Wow.
out in April, and this is it's a little peek into the mindset of this guy and what he thinks, and it literally is like contrarian brainworms, right? On
I'm not gonna lie, I feel dumber. I finished my coffee, and generally I feel pretty good after I finish my coffee. But I ain't gonna lie, I feel dumber right now.
line contrarian brainworms. Like, I'm against the mainstream. And so they charged Trump 91 crimes, so now I liked Trump. It's like, it literally is that dumb. And here we are now, and he's still
Jesus
doing
Christ.
the shit. Now he's trying to tiptoe out of the room of being pure MAGA. Now he's trying to tiptoe back to just being an enlightened centrist, right? So every now and then he'll do some tepid criticism of Trump's policies, but he'll never flat out come out there and rip Trump a new asshole. Never. Even on this Epstein file shit, he's like, oh yeah, basically like saying they're lying about it or implying that they're lying about it. But who, Joe? Care to go deeper on that? Care to explain why they are lying about it? They, by the way, is Trump, and he's lying about it because he's in the fucking Epstein files and he probably had Epstein killed, right? But no, they would never go that far. So anyway, In other words, the reasons Rogan supported Trump are as stupid as you fucking thought they were.
Yeah.
Hey, y'all, do me a favor and like.
And that's where we're at, guys. That's where we're at. And that's what, like, it's fucking insane to just watch people that I guess you know, the term I always use is aggressively gullible. So life is very difficult, right? To exist is difficult. That is, if you have a brain and you're capable of thinking. I remember when I was like really young, probably like 10 years old, I wanted to be an astronaut. And I always thought about like the universe and stars, and it's always been just something that I've loved to think about. And I remember being like 10 years old, and I remember laying on my bed, and I remember trying to think about the universe and trying to think about the theory of the universe inflating. And for those of you guys who don't know, the visual for it is that, like, after the Big Bang, it's like a balloon that has two spots on it on the balloon. And when the balloon starts, it inflates in the two spots. The further and further it inflates, the further and further you get apart from these places. So I was trying to think about, like, wow, there's places out there that are getting further and further away from us, like by the second. It's moving at faster than light is what they believe. And it blew my mind. It was just like, it gave me anxiety to think about. Like, I'm like, okay, so if the universe is expanding, what is the universe expanding into? And then if the universe is expanding into something, what's containing that? And then, you know, so I'm sitting there, I'm losing my fucking mind at 10 years old, having anxiety, because I like to ask questions, because I enjoy thinking about things. And what we see are a bunch of people that are overwhelmed by the simplest questions. Is Trump in the Epstein files? Seems as though there's a lot of evidence that he is. Is Trump a liar? Seems as though there's a lot of evidence that he is. Is Trump a good person? Seems as though there's a lot of evidence that he isn't. And the problem is that people like me, people like you, people like a lot of people on the left, when we think about things and they give us anxiety, we might take a step back. We might take some time off, might take a deep breath. But generally, at one point or another, we want to get back to it because it's important to us, because we're curious, because we like to actually know whether we're correct about something or not. And the thing about MAGA is that they don't have the capacity to have original thoughts. The capacity that they have, they've given over to others to give them those thoughts, because they are aggressively gullible human beings that need a cult leader to take their accountability and their responsibility for what they do in their life and to give them purpose. Every one of these people looks back on something and says, man, that was kind of bad that I did that. And when they have to touch the red hot surface of accountability, they shy away from it. They don't want to. I've thought dumb shit in my life. I've had bad opinions in my life. I've said stupid shit. I've made bad jokes. Sometimes you got to touch that white hot surface and get burned a little, so that way you recognize what you did wrong. You got to take accountability for it. But MAGA doesn't want to do that, and just like many human beings before them, they're not special. They've turned over all their accountability, all their agency to somebody else that will willingly take it from them, because that person wants all the power and all the control. All right, guys. That's it for me. But we got another show coming up after me. So stay tuned. Enjoy the next show that's coming up. And remember to like the stream. If you guys enjoyed my stream, I do have a stream on Saturday at 5 p.m. when this space is not playing. And you should come over and check it out. I love you guys. I appreciate you guys. And I hope to see you guys next Thursday.